Earlier you heard a brief mention of this resource material, and I just wanted to mention it to you again. In your package, you will find these cards that provide you some key information related to high schools in the United States. That's for your keeping, but I just wanted to call that to your attention. If you would like additional copies of this, or if you would like this information specific to your state, this is something that the Alliance for Excellent Education produces each year, and the data is currently available on our website at www.all4ed.org. And so if you go to the website, you'll be able to go to your state and get your state-specific information. Also, I noticed some of you glancing at this very nice button I was wearing, and I thought I'd share with you why I was wearing this button and what it's all about. This button basically says every student, and if you look at the button, there is a picture of a graduation hat and the tassel turned to the appropriate side. It really is just to sort of dramatize symbolically how important we hold the notion of high school graduation in the campaign for high school equity. At our previous briefing, we produced some of these buttons in Spanish language, and I believe at some of our future events they will be produced in, I believe, one of the Native American languages. But I would encourage you to pick up one or two or three or four or five of these buttons and wear them proudly, because it goes very directly to our ability to create the public will to ensure that all of our kids do, in fact, have access to the opportunities so that they can make it to graduation and be prepared fully for college, work, and life. What I'd like to do at this point is to now move into the question and answer portion of our morning's discussion. But before we do that, I'd like to take the liberty as the moderator for this morning by throwing out a couple of questions to our panelists just to get things started. Now, I wanted to start with a question to Dr. Smith. There was something that you said that kind of caught my attention, and I was just wondering if you might comment on it just a little bit more. You mentioned that as you look at some of the data in Arkansas, you could identify children who were being left behind, and you could identify them by color, by zip code, by region of the state. I think you were onto a particular idea there having to do with concentrations of certain kinds of characteristics. I wonder if you might just build that out just a little bit more for the audience. And actually, if you just push that button in the middle of the microphone, yes, thank you.
Certainly. There is a new form of data analysis that states are beginning to use, and that's called value-added data analysis systems, where you can actually now go in and look at student strengths and weaknesses by area, by item, by content strength. For example, if a child is having trouble in understanding percents and numbers, you are able now to zero in specifically on just that discrete item, whatever that might be, and then also to zero in on instructional strategies that work for various groups of kids so that higher performing peers can assist lower performing peers in transforming performance. You see, in Arkansas, we have this great sense of urgency that we want to be sure that all of our kids can move to the top. And so we are consistently in our data rooms and in our data warehouse looking at ways in which we can do that. Now, many states are interested in value-added data analysis, and many are coming aboard. You have to have all of those 10 elements of data that's nationally recognized by NTLB in order to do that. But that day is soon coming, and we think that it will make all of the difference in student performance.
I wonder if you would just briefly, is it, and if you could share this with us, where are the largest pockets of populations of Southeast Asian students. And in those areas, do you find, would you find the same phenomenon that Dr. Smith has described, that concentration of young people by color, by zip code, by region of the state it's on?
So the interesting thing about our populations is that actually they're not concentrated in areas. There are pockets of them in those areas, but they're not concentrated in areas where people think they're traditionally high Asian American populations, Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco. They're actually refugees who were resettled in different parts of the country so that they could, quote unquote, assimilate more easily. That didn't really work, but that's another briefing. So the point is actually they're concentrated in areas like the Twin Cities, so Minneapolis, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Arkansas, like I mentioned earlier. Even in California, they're concentrated in the Central Valley, on the East Coast, Rhode Island, Boston, Pennsylvania. So they're in areas that actually people don't traditionally think there are a lot of Asian Americans, which actually in some cases is very important for those school districts, because those school districts then collect some information ethnic-wise anyways in order to better understand that population. And in particular, they are concentrated in large neighborhoods, mostly because of the cultural upbringing, but also the cultural dynamics, right, where close family, clanship, kinship is really important. And so you will find them in large proportions in the same school districts, and in many cases even in the same schools.
Okay. Before I go to the full question and answer session, let me just ask: is there anyone here from the press? I wanted to make sure I allowed. For those of you who are in the press, let me allow